Hey assholes, Pat Ryarchy here, also known as the Patriarchy. Um, this is just great. I, I can't believe it. Food's racist now. I mean, everything was racist. Don't get me wrong, but now food's racist. Remember when Lena Dunham had that whole thing about sushi being cultural appropriation and we should stop eating sushi? That's basically what you're about to hear in this article. I was gonna read a BBC article, but I'm actually gonna take the story from a Daily Caller article, but it's sourcing the BBC article, so there is sources for this. Food racism is the latest front for high-pitched whining. A food photographer criticized whiteness and privilege in the food industry on a podcast called Racist Sandwich. That's a pretty shitty name for a podcast. I mean, I hope the podcast is actually funny, so maybe it's not that bad, but I never like the words whiteness and privilege. And it's not because I'm a white man who's privileged and I'm insulted by this, it's because these things are idiotic. Food media is predominantly generated by white people for white people, said food photographer Celeste Noche to the BBC. So when the subject veers towards anything outside of the Western canon, it's not uncommon to see things generalized, exotified, or misrepresented. I think that's how you pronounce her name is Celeste Noche. I'm not sure. Noche, Noche. I think microaggressions in social media are reflective of food media as a whole in that appropriation, explained Noche. The microaggressions can be as simple as a lack of research. So you're doing a microaggression because you didn't research out some history on some food that your social media when you're talking about it. I'm saying she's reaching here a little bit on this race thing. I mean, a microaggression? Really? I think that whiteness in a photograph can be the privilege of not having to explain what it is by using different groups or things that overcompensate. She said during an appearance on the Racist Sandwich podcast. Noche explained that displays of European food emphasized a certain amount of time, money, and effort put into food production that people from other cultures might not be able to give. The food photographer also criticized the use of minimalism in photos of food. My issue with minimalism is that it suggests a kind of privilege. God, everything to you is privilege. I mean, just privilege, privilege, privilege. I mean, what the fuck? Taking pictures is a privilege? You can take a picture whatever the fuck you want. Literally. For the most part, you can take a picture what the fuck you want. Said Noche, people who can choose to be minimalist usually aren't in a position where they're choosing minimalism because they have to. Do you have any proof of that? Because that seems like a pretty absurd claim to me. Food photography can be very classist in that way. Why don't you let the food speak for itself? The way you let every other dish that you're shooting. She, I'm sorry. She asked that rhetorically, describing how Asian dishes are often presented with chopsticks or other cultural signifiers that she does not believe are really necessary. Now, here's something I actually agree with her with. If there's something I'm annoyed with, it's when I go hang out with my hipster friends who use fucking chopsticks when you go eat Chinese food or whenever they're eating ramen or something. I'm not knocking you if you like to use chopsticks, it's cool. But they're sitting there with me and I'm eating a fork and they're looking at me like, oh, come on, man, you know chopsticks are better. I'm like, no, they're not. That's why I'm using a fork, retard. There's a fork, spoon, and a knife. It's better. The spork exists. What world are you living in? No, it's not better to eat with chopsticks. It's like, oh, it's like, dude, I don't care if you do, but yeah, it annoys me. It is some kind of like weird, like, hipster thing, but who cares? It's harmless. Like, if an Asian person's really offended by that, they're sensitive. I'm German. I'm not offended if people eat, what, like sauerkraut or sausage or some shit. I don't know. I mean, I have to hear about Nazi jokes all the time. It doesn't offend me. On Twitter, the food photographer referred to Tucker Carlson, founder of the Daily Caller and host of the Fox News Channel program, Tucker Carlson Tonight, as a racist, misogynist bigot. A racist, misogynist bigot invites you onto their show, but you're just like... And she posts like a meme thing. Noche's comments come during the time when some are concerned about cultural misrepresentations of food, according to the BBC. Dear Pembroke catering staff, stop mixing mango and beef and calling it Jamaican stew, said one student at Pembroke College of Cambridge University. I'm actually half Jamaican. Please, show me where in the Caribbean they mix fruit and meat. A food website named Bon Appetit also received backlash after publishing a video in which a white American chef instructed viewers on the correct way to eat pho. So, an American chef's teaching people how to eat pho correctly. It's like Vietnamese soup noodle dish or some shit, I think. And that's racist because white people aren't allowed to teach people how to cook foods from other countries or other cultures or anything. Okay, let's go look at her Twitter. I'm actually pretty excited to look at her Twitter. Let's go. Okay, let's see. She has the whitest story ever told. Lena Dunham defends Taylor Swift's right not to speak out against Trump. I love it. The whitest story ever told. Wow, you don't sound like a fucking racist. Okay, somebody said this lady's entire timeline is pure comedy gold. I love it. Someone on our team. Hopefully you're a subscriber. Senior Temptor. If being a lady means sitting idle while being harassed by ignorant trolls, then you're right. I'm not a lady. Oh my goodness. Uh, let's see. She's talking about the patriarchy. I'm basically on national news asking for work from the same people trying to invalidate me, white men. Oh my god, this chick's great. I love how much I talk about food while I'm eating food, but not the food I'm eating. Different food. Food isn't your safe space anymore, babies. So she also says here that in her description thing on Twitter, uh, Filipino photographer living in a bookshop, eating pizza, destroying the patriarchy. You're destroying me now, are you? Well, that's very interesting because I think I'm pretty powerful right now. Um, I don't know. This chick's. I think she might just be trying to get attention and just throwing anything because her throwing out privilege and patriarchy and white men and all that, it's all pretty typical Tumblr SJW stuff. I don't know if she's taking it that seriously or not. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I don't think she's probably like an idiot. However, she's probably pretty normy, pretty basic bitch stuff. Probably just thinks everybody who disagrees with her is like some evil cis white male and she can't hear a different point of view. I mean, honestly, she just calling Tucker Carlson a misogynist bigot, invites you on. It's like, okay, you're not willing to go talk or be debated because you know on that show you would look like a moron, like a lot of the guests do that Tucker Carlson brings on. If he invites you on, you should be scared most of the time. That means you're going to hurt yourself being on that interview without him even saying anything because Tucker Carlson just makes faces most of the time. Um, I don't know. I hate the idea of a podcast called Racist Sandwich. I don't like people who use these words and fucking buzzwords to tell me I'm racist and privileged and I shouldn't use foods. Who cares ultimately if people use chopsticks or not? It annoys me. Who cares what kind of Instagram photos people take? Ultimately, I don't care if you mix different kind of foods and cultures together and bastardize it and change the original meaning or image of it. Who cares? It's food. I probably make multiple types of dishes weekly that are all kinds of mixes of things. You know, there's some Cajun in there. There's some Tex-Mex. Sometimes I do Italian with weird. I mean, I mix all kinds of stuff together. There's no tradition. You don't have to stick to tradition. Part of food is that you can mix different things and come up with your own things. It's like music. There's all kinds of fucking subgenres and stuff. You don't have to get mad. It's not taking anything away from those original meals from those countries or those cultures. It's not taking anything away to have like some kind of Americanized version of that. That's just part of the world we live in. They do that all over the world where there's capitalism. It's okay to mix cultures. I don't think the cultural appropriation argument works that well with food. It's the same as the sushi thing. It's like ultimately what people eat isn't harming anyone, and people who get offended by how people eat or present food are just kind of assholes, or you know, they're snowflakes. They're just so sensitive about anything. She takes pictures of food and she acts like she's this great artist and she can explain things and criticize minimalism because she has this understanding of minimalism and art because it's a privilege to be I mean, this is moronic stuff. This is really silly. To me, it shows her privilege that she gets to complain about this stuff and not see how ridiculous it is. This seems like a privileged person to me. I don't know. But, you know, she's going to destroy me, so I won't be around too long. So I'll miss you guys. But until then, make sure to take the most sexist photos you can of your food. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but I'm sure you'll figure out something with hot dogs or whatnot. You guys are creative. Get some meatballs and hot dogs and have a party. Anyway, this is Pat. I love you motherfuckers. Let's party on, and let's take down these feminazis, or these feminoches in the future. So like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, go fuck yourselves.